All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Home to the cradle of basketball, the rise of football, and the greatest spectacle in racing. This is All Indiana Sports, presented by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in. Yes, sir. The Pacers clapped back after a Game 3 loss with a determined performance, putting one of their stars in a rare historical air. We will go through the game and give you our take on the rest of the series ahead. So let's go all in.
That's correct. I'm Kevin. This is my son Liam, and we are the Unstable Blues. Happy to present All In Sports as part of the All In Sports, or All Indiana Sports as part of the All In Sports and Rogue Media Sports Networks. That's a mouthful.
Yes.
First of all, before we get into the game, friendly reminder, there are 100 days until the official start of the NFL season.
100 days until the official start of is Danny Dimes the starting quarterback.
That may be determined before 100 days.
Yes. Hopefully.
Or we may not know until 104 days when the Colts actually play.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the Thursday game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got it. We're not here to talk about Colts right now. We're here to talk about the Pacers.
Game 4.
Going up 3-1. Get us started. Give us the lowdown here.
Okay, I guess we'll start with some stats.
Okay. Yes, let me get my graphic up here because this matters. It is a gold episode, which means Pacers. So here you go.
Specifically about Tyrese Haliburton. We talked about the historical. And this team is not known for huge blowout games from one player. So no one dropping 40 or anything like that.
Nope.
This didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
First player ever. This is Haliburton. First player ever in the playoffs to have at least 30 points, 15 assists, and 10 rebounds, and 0 turnovers. Also,
nothing.
The third player ever in the playoffs to go for at least 30, 15, and 10, joining Oscar Robertson, who's done it twice, and Nikola Jokic, who's done it once. Rare history for a Pacers player. Normally, like I was talking about, you don't see these big blowout games from one person. But here we are, Haliburton having a crazy triple-double. Also, only person in franchise history to record multiple triple-doubles in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He has 2. Next up, Victor Oladipo, and then Paul George.
And Mark Jackson.
Yes.
Back in the Reggie days. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's kind of revisit this a little bit, because shortly before the playoffs, or it was like right at the beginning, it was determined, it was let out that his fellow players voted him as one of the most overrated player, or the most overrated player.
Yes. Yeah.
I think he may have proved them wrong.
I don't think it's a may have. I think it's a definitely. He was clutch in so many situations. He is out clutching the most clutch player. Voted as the award for most clutch player. Brunson got awarded that. He is out clutching him.
Yep.
So, and both Brunson has been clutch in the 2 series before this, but not in this series, not whenever it's mattered.
Yep.
He airballed a 3 to tie the game. And so he just hasn't been clutch.
Yeah.
So it's been a good time being a Pacers fan so far. Yeah. So.
All right. Then we also got to talk about Benedict Mathurin.
Yes.
Who just came on the court in the fourth quarter because Neesmith was in some foul trouble against Brunson. Shepard just couldn't hang. Nembhard couldn't deal with it. So they brought in Mathurin to get not only physical, but also in his head a little bit. And then we looked up, and Mathurin had 15. He scored a total of 20 points, all in 12 minutes, most of those in the fourth quarter, and brought him home down the stretch.
Yeah. And then I'd just like to point out Siakam
Oh,
also dropped 30
quietly. Just
no one talking about that.
Nope. No.
At all.
No, because it's Haliburton's deal.
Well, yes, but still, Siakam dropping a necessary 30.
Yeah.
Honestly.
All of these points were necessary. Now, the final score was only a 9-point differential. That's because it was kind of junk time, and, Knicks were trying to make a comeback. Pacers missed a few free throws, but it was all in the last few seconds.
Like Haliburton was already out of the game.
Yeah.
So.
Thankfully, they didn't blow it too bad. But, so the flow of the game then, we always say, basketball is a game of runs. Get your wipes ready.
Yep.
It's kind of gross, but it's how it goes.
Yeah.
It is a game of runs. And so how were these runs in this game then? Oh, I caught you.
So the runs kind of dictated the scoring back and forth. It was, Pacers going on a 10-2 run. Oh, the Knicks going on a 10-2 run. And so then you're tied up, you're trading baskets, then someone goes on a run, then the other team timeout gets a run themselves. I think if you wanna go down to it, how the runs played out was the Pacers were getting runs whenever it mattered, towards the end of the half, towards the end of the quarter, really getting their momentum on their side whenever it mattered. Whenever the Knicks would go for runs, get the runs mid-quarter, beginning of the quarter, something like that, where it didn't matter as much. The Pacers were getting the runs where it mattered, and obviously you're at home, so you're going to have the crowd behind you. So even coming out of the timeout, it's still hard for them to get going. Also something that plays into the runs heavily and fast break points, which there was huge difference in fast break points.
Oh, yeah.
Is turnovers. And so Pacers, I believe, led turnovers, not by much, but just enough. So it's
no.
Pacers only turned the ball over 11 times. Knicks
I was reading
that
score wrong. Yep.
So only by 6, but the fast break points were so much off of it because the Knicks don't play fast break points, and the Pacers get back. And then not anything necessarily due to fast break points, turnovers, or runs, but another thing is foul trouble. Whenever you're playing 7, 8 guys consistently, you're going to get into foul trouble. But not only did they get in foul trouble, the Pacers did. There was a point where the Pacers were playing really sloppy, getting them to commit some fouls, but the Pacers were committing some fouls. At the end of the game, 2 players fouled out. Josh Hart fouled out with about a minute 15, minute 30 left. So that was kind of a dagger for the Knicks. No offensive rebounds because Robinson's also in foul trouble.
And that's been huge because Hart has kind of been the heart of the Knicks, especially against the Pacers, been able to do the dirty work that needs done to
even since he hasn't been starting. He's still been out there. Hart had a double-double with not assists but rebounds and points. So he's on the glass. Dennis Rodman-esque type of rebounding, not the tallest or biggest guy out there, but always there whenever you need it.
Yeah.
There's one point where you said, of course it's Hart that does this. Turner got blocked. Turner blocked Hart. Hart got his own block back and then put it back up and scored. Of course it's Hart that's doing it.
Only him.
And then speak of Turner also fouled out, but that was kind of like 30 seconds left. Not much you can do. Honestly, I was at the point where I'm like, okay, Robinson's not in. You don't need a bigger guy. Siakam has proven that he can take care of Cat. Plus, Cat's knee was hurt, and so he was doing nothing.
And who'd they put in?
And they put Obi Toppin in.
And then what happened?
And he buried a 3. I said on that possession, if there is a 3 on this possession, that's the dagger. Game's over.
You did.
And then
you called it.
It went out of bounds. I'm like, okay. And then Haliburton started. I was like, okay, well,
2.7 on the shot.
Our clutch player is inbounding the ball, so he's not taking a shot. So who's going to take it? Neesmith wraps around. There's enough time to get him to there, but Haliburton hesitated a little bit. Hit a clean bounce pass right in between defenders. Toppin got it. Hit a little bit of a step back. 3, drained it. Game over pretty much.
Yep.
So there's definitely a lot of foul trouble on both sides of the ball that didn't need to be there on either side. The refs, I wouldn't say they called it unfair because if you look at the free throw attempts, I believe they were pretty similar.
Okay.
I think that the Knicks had more attempts. Yeah, so it's pretty similar. Seven free throw differential.
Yep.
Knicks missed one more free throw, so it kind of balances out.
Yep.
The percentage was almost identical, 0.2 differentiating them in the percentage. So free throws and fouls weren't necessarily a factor because two guys fouled out, one from each team. But then again, you have the guys who aren't playing as much because you get into foul trouble, like Mitchell Robinson, who got into he got 4 fouls late in the third quarter, and he hardly played at all in the fourth.
Yep.
And then another thing, sorry, I'm just rambling.
No, go for it.
Another thing here is not only foul trouble for a team who doesn't play that deep, but injuries are stacking up.
Yeah.
Teams always get injured against the Pacers.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is we played teams healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We've played whenever we played Bucks in game 2, we beat them.
Yep.
Whenever everyone was healthy. Whenever we played the Cavs in game 4 or 2, one of the two, whenever everyone was healthy, we beat them. We smoked the Cavs in that game. It's one where we had 80 points at halftime.
Yeah.
We were playing a healthy Knicks team, completely healthy Knicks team who's like, they're going to run through the Eastern Conference. It does not look that way as of now. I don't want to jinx it or anything like that. But I have faith. You're up 3-1. I told you this earlier today. We were talking about the different scenarios if it goes 3-1 or 2-2. If it's 3-1, the Pacers
Wait. Hold that thought. We'll talk about that in a second to close it out.
Okay.
My 2 cents on the runs is Pacers jumped out to an early lead. If you're playing against the Pacers, you always have to know that that's probably going to happen. And a lot of it was Neesmith right off the bat, 2 big threes.
And had that dunk to kind of boom, get the crowd going.
But then it's a game of runs, and so the Knicks come back and they try to make a run. Every time the Knicks would make a run, it wasn't that often where it was this insurmountable momentum. McConnell would hit a shot. Haliburton hit a shot. Siakam hit a shot. Neesmith hit a shot. Nembhard only had 3 points in the game, but it came at a crucial moment. Toppin only had 5 points in the game, but 2 were off of a transition dunk and the game-sealing triple. So, and once again, this is how the Pacers beat you. You don't know where it's coming from. You never know where the stop to your run's going to happen because it could come from any one of the 10 guys on the floor, including Tony Bradley, who scored 3 points.
Yeah.
He got a big-time bucket, and he went 1 for 2 from the line when he got fouled.
And
that's good.
To kind of piggyback on that, this by no means was a good game from the Pacers. I mean, it was a good game from Siakam. It was a good game from Haliburton and Mathurin. Those are the 3 players. And then, so it was by all means not a good game from the Pacers at all. It was, I would say Nembhard didn't have a normal game for him, only scoring 3 points, not a ton. Toppin normally scores more than that. McConnell normally scores more than that.
Yeah.
Mathurin doesn't score that much.
Yeah.
Which kind of balances out.
But still, 4 guys in double figures. So no, my bad. 5 guys in double figures. You get 5 guys in double figures, pretty good.
That, and I'm going to call it Coach Carlisle here. Not that great of a coaching game from him at all.
Really
bad challenge, way too early, lost it.
Yep.
So you have no challenges, and there's so many more challenges you could have done later in the game that would have mattered more.
Yep.
And then weird timeouts from him. Haliburton was going to cook Cat. He was tween. He was feeling himself, and then timeout, Rick.
Right.
Okay, what are you doing here?
When you're six up and about to maybe be 9 up.
Well, no, you were 9 up.
No. It was 6.
You were 9 up at the time because you just got a stop after a 3.
It was 6. I remember.
Okay.
All right.
But regardless, that's a weird timeout.
Yeah.
And there was a timeout you didn't like called whenever Haliburton stole the ball from Brunson, got on top of it, and then because you didn't know how many timeouts were left, and then you're like, okay, we have 4 left, we're fine.
Yeah.
So, and then one more thing, just kind of about not being like such a good game. The offensive rebounds. The Knicks were killing us on the boards once again.
Still, yep.
Yes, you could throw Bradley in there to have a bigger guy, but like, how much is he going to do? Mitchell Robinson plays against starters night to night basis. Bradley does not.
Yep.
So Robinson has that experience, and he still can push you over and all that stuff. So it's definitely hard to deal with offensive rebounds, and we knew this coming into this game in the last game whenever Robinson started. So, but it's weird whenever your point guard has the most rebounds.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a weird game whenever you have your point guard who normally has a double, not that high points or that high assists. Plus, he has the rebounds in double figures. So it's weird. It's gonna be a weird game stat wise, and it was.
Stats only matter so much.
Yes.
Which leads us to. What was your game-changing moment?
There are a lot of things. There was the game-sealing 3 from Toppin. I think whenever Hart got fouled out, I was kind of like, okay, this is probably it because they had to put Shamet in. It's Shamet or Shamet.
Shamet, I think
one of the two. And I agree with the announcers were like, why are they putting him in? Why is Deuce McBride not in? Because he looked like he was having a decent game.
Yep.
I'm surprised McBride wasn't in just to give him something, maybe because McBride is a better 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
But so there was a lot of moments that could have been it, taking an injury knee, but that ended up being a offensive foul on Neesmith. So it was weird. That whole thing was weird.
Yep.
But I'm gonna say, I think it was right before the fourth quarter, and very end of the third quarter. Whenever Brunson got the foul for throwing Mathurin on the ground, I was like, Brunson, just like last game, whenever Brunson kind of mentally checked out, and then Cat started going on a run, so then Brunson checked back in, and give credit, give credit. That was kind of Brunson kind of mentally checking out again. Give credit to the rest of the team and Mathurin for not letting anyone start going on a run personally to let Brunson kind of lock back in. So Brunson after that was kind of done. The whole fourth quarter, he was Neesmith was on him the whole entire game.
Yep. I forget exactly. I'm gonna go with whatever caused the Knicks' last timeout. I believe it was Halley 3. The Pacers had gone on a little bit of a run, and we're talking like this is like the last. With like 3 to 4 minutes left, and Thibodeau had enough, and he called the timeout. Anytime you kind of have those kinds of things that late in the game, to me, that because you look at it, you go, the Pacers were never really in danger of letting the game get away from them, right? But I think that's a credit to what they didn't do so well in game 3 was keep pushing, keep running, and keep the pressure on and keep that pace up. So that leads us to the final thing before we talk about the future. The player of the game?
It's got to be Haliburton.
No, I figured.
It was a weird game. Haliburton closed it out completely. I think this game was kind of completely on him. If he dropped 30 points.
You do something that no one has ever done before?
It's got to prove. I think the main part in that was 0 turnovers. I told you in the beginning of the game, I said, if Tyrese Haliburton has a double-double, I think we win this game. I said that is.
Yep.
I told you. I said that
You
is
did.
my main thing.
Yep.
Haliburton needs a double-double.
And he got a triple-double.
And he got a triple-double.
And 0 turnovers.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing, but just so I can be a little different and add a little flavor, I'm going to talk about the other guy that we talked about, Mathurin. Completely unexpected because he's been very silent. I was just thinking earlier,
this whole playoffs,
very silent. Well, he's had some moments,
He's had moments, but like nothing overarching. That's like,
but
watch out.
Especially this series, very quiet, and probably to do with his defense has really kind of been overshadowed because there's this huge risk of guarding Brunson, but then who does he really match up well with that isn't Brunson? He's a little too short for Bridges. Maybe if Deuce is in there, that could be but then the rotation just gets a little weird because, as you pointed out, Mathurin doesn't necessarily seem to fit the system as well as some of the other players that the Pacers have.
But I also believe because he doesn't fit the system, you're going to have weird games where your system isn't working.
Well,
and the Knicks system wasn't working. The Pacers system wasn't working.
I mean, game 2, Siakam had to do his thing in half court because that's what the Knicks were forcing. Yeah.
So you have to figure out ways to get it done. And that's why guys like Mathurin, who don't necessarily fit the system, are important players to have.
And like I have said multiple times whenever he's in there, there's only one person or a few small amount of people on the Pacers that can do the kinds of things that he does, where he has this strange, acrobatic, no look behind. Like he didn't do that in this game, but like we've seen him before, like drive the lane, get a foul, have his back to the basket in the air, toss it up and get it in.
Yeah.
There aren't that many people on the planet that can do that, let alone on the same team. And so he gives you something that you just don't have, and the other team therefore hasn't seen, especially if he hasn't played a lot in this series. So yes, it's Haliburton, but got to give a shout out because he's been so silent. So this is kind of a flip for that.
Mm-hmm.
That leads us to talking about what's ahead. Okay, the series is 3-1. And if this was the Knicks 3-1, everybody on the planet, everybody on all the major networks would be talking about how the series is completely over. Just phone it in. It's absolutely done. Whether you're going on the road or at home, it's done. Same thing if it was the Celtics or the Cavs. But since it's the Pacers, there's going to be that crack open of light that says, yeah, but it's the Pacers. What say you to that?
I take that and put it under my boot and crush it, even though I don't even wear boots. That is just the saying. The way I look at it is, one, end it in MSG. That would be so fun. All three of your series end in 5 games. That would be crazy.
Yep.
And it's not like you're playing pushover teams. Like we said, healthy, good teams.
Number 1 seed.
Yeah. So it would be great to end it at MSG, but I don't know if they'll get it done necessarily. I guess I won't talk on it a ton on air necessarily on here, but I'll probably talk to you about it a lot. Just with upcoming injury reports, because I'm sure there'll be something questionable, Cat questionable, something. Neesmith still questionable. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. He played through it tonight, for sure. So a lot of things to take into account. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. So we'll see. But the way I'm kind of taking it is the Knicks looked so worn down in Game 4 that I think if the Pacers don't get it in MSG, they're definitely going to get it in Game 6. It's not going to go to a Game 7. And so I think the way you put it to the team is you're going to get it in the next game, but you have 3 chances. It's kind of like that's kind of the mentality. You have 3 chances to go and win this game. It's not like
but like you say that with a sense of urgency. Like, hey, you gotta win this because if the Thunder win tomorrow, series over. So then
they get more rest.
So you have to end it quickly.
Yeah. The finals are already set for the start date. It's just who gets the amount of rest.
Yes. So if the Wolves win tomorrow, you need to win an MSG. I think if the Thunder win tomorrow, yes, you need to win an MSG, but it's okay to bring it to game 2.
There's the old sentiment. Maybe we just make sure we win it at home. Let's win it at home for our fans. I say go in and get the job done no matter what.
I want to see it again. I want to. I doubt it'll happen.
I don't know.
You never know.
I know.
You didn't doubt the Pacers. I doubted the Pacers how many times?
Yep.
And look what's happened.
Yep.
So,
yeah. So I would say I'm going to stick by my prediction from the beginning of the season, or the beginning of the series, that it will be Pacers in 6. Now, at the same time, I would absolutely love it if it was Pacers in 5, because even as a player, I've heard players talk about if they would rather have the roar of the home crowd of the big bucket or the hush of the away crowd, they would much rather silence the crowd. And, maybe Timothy Chalamet will end up on the injury report as well.
I like that. Yeah. Okay.
So I guess, that's all we have for today. Night, I think. And then with the Fever and seeing what they can do without Caitlin Clark. And then we'll be back on Thursday
or Friday.
Thursday, Friday with whatever happens there. Thank you for slapping me in the. All right.
Well, this is Liam.
And this is Kevin.
Reminding you to stay all Indiana.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.